Hello, everyone, and welcome to the NESG Radio. Today with us we have Ms. Dolapo Enejo. Ms. Dolapo Enejo is actually a food systems and nutrition specialist. She has several years' experience in the nutrition space, and her area of expertise is actually centered around providing evidence-based education and communication within food systems to address hunger and malnutrition. She's also focused on mainstreaming nutrition approaches in agriculture. My name is Aderibe Sherif. I am a communications and advocacy specialist with the Nigerian Economic Summit Group. You are welcome, Ma.
Yeah, thank you, Sherry, for having me on this podcast this afternoon.
Okay, Ma. So there has been a lot of talk about nutrition and the importance of nutrition. As we know, today we'll be discussing building high performance team through workforce nutrition. So we'd like to know what is the correlation really between adequate diet, eating properly, and an employee of any organization performing well at work.
Okay, thank you, Sherry, for that question. So, first off, I would say that proper nutrition has a direct correlation with an employee's performance for several reasons. So when employees consume a well balanced diet that provides essential nutrients, it can positively impact their physical health, their mental well-being, and cognitive abilities. So all of which contributes to their overall job performance, their overall productivity in any organization where they work. And I would just like to highlight some of the aspects where proper nutrition has a contribution to an employee's overall well-being in ensuring high performance in their different roles as employees within organizations. So in terms of physical health, so good nutrition promotes overall physical health, and which can lead to fewer sick days. Sometimes you just hear a colleague has called in sick because they are not feeling well. But before that, there is a build-up, and that's where proper nutrition comes in, because your immune system has to be, kept at its optimal level as much as possible. So, a balanced diet that includes fruits, vegetables, whole grains, lean proteins, and healthy fats provide essential nutrients, so vitamins and minerals that are necessary for optimal bodily function. So when employees are physically healthy, they are less likely to experience fatigue, illness, chronic conditions that can hinder their productivity and attendance, at work. So that would reduce absenteeism to a minimal level. Again, in terms of mental well-being, which is the second point that I would like to touch on, the proper nutrition plays a critical role in mental well-being. So nutrients such as omega-3 fatty acids in nutrition, some people would say there are good fats, there are bad fats, but again, when you talk about polyunsaturated fatty acids, they are very good in helping us as human beings to build a good system, because that the way the brain functions, you need to continually pump glucose to the brain to ensure that it works adequately. That's why somebody will say, oh, I'm experiencing migraine. I just need some sugar shots in my system to ensure that, my brain is functioning optimally. So when we increase our intake of B vitamins, of omega-3 fatty acids and antioxidants, which we most likely and would always find in our fruits and vegetables and other food constituents, this has been linked to improved brain function, mood regulation. You don't constantly come up with mood swings when you're eating well, when you're having a balanced variety and diverse diet. And then it also helps to reduce the stress levels when you're at work. So, conversely, a diet that is high in processed foods, in sugars, in unhealthy fats can contribute to mental health issues such as anxiety, such as depression, and this would also, reduce the person's capacity to deliver optimally at work. So by consuming a nutritious diet, employees are more likely to have an enhanced mental resilience, concentration, and positive attitude towards work. So leading us on, I would like to also touch on cognitive function, which is like bringing it, back from mental well-being. So, the brain requires essential nutrients to optimally function, as I initially mentioned. So because the cognitive processes allows, as different studies have shown, ensures that we are focused when we work, ensures that we are not only also focused, it also helps with memory retention. So your ability to create a balance in your memory, your ability to retain things in your memory, your ability to also process things, essentially is what we refer to as cognitive function. So when we have when we ensure that we have a varied, diverse diet, what then happens is that we are focused, your memory functions perfectly well, and then your ability to solve problems while at work is also enhanced. And studies have also shown that individuals that maintain a healthy diet have a better capacity at demonstrating improved decision-making skills. So by providing our bodies and our brains with the necessary nutrients, employees can enhance their cognitive function and perform better in their job task. So in terms of energy and productivity as well, a well-balanced diet, provides the necessary for, like I would use an example of when you put a premium fuel in your car and when you put an adulterated fuel in your car, your engine can knock when you put an adulterated fuel in your car. But when you put premium fuel in your car, what happens? And you continually maintain the vehicle by taking it to the mechanic workshop every time you need to change your gear oil, every time you need to, top up the water in the carburetor and all of that. It's just the same way the body functions. So sometimes when I give examples during trainings, I refer our bodies to a car. So if you leave your car, you keep driving it every time, one day it will just break down on you because you're not taking it for your regular maintenance or your regular checks. As the case may be, you wake up in the morning, you're not even checking whether the water levels is where it should be or that your fuel gauge and everything is intact. That's the same way the body is, because we cannot see what happens in the body. And that's why we recommend every time that for our overall well-being, you have to always ensure that it's not only about the balanced diet alone now. You also have to now ensure that you practice preventive medicine by going for regular checks with your GP, your doctor, to ensure that you carry out regular checks like checking your cholesterol level, your sugar levels, you are checking your blood pressure, your pulse rate, and everything that makes your body to function. Then that's when you are operating, or your body is operating optimally. So, to wrap up this first question, employers can really support proper nutrition among employees by, offering healthy food options at workplace, promoting wellness programs, which some companies already do, by providing health insurance for staff members, for employees at work. And then with your health insurance, you can, register at a gym, for example, ensure that you're not always engaged in a sedentary lifestyle, but that you are always, engaged in physical activities, either by jogging, by running, by riding a bicycle in your estate, or by doing something that ensures that you are physically fit. So I will stop there with the first question.
Okay, thank you very much for that insightful response. As a matter of fact, you have helped our viewers, and listeners understand, the benefits of, of proper nutrition to, having a very high performing team in organizations. Okay, Ma. So this basically leads us to the next question. You've talked about how a well nourished, workforce can contribute to a high performing team, and in all, make organizations get the best out of their employees. So at this point, we are looking at real world examples that can make people understand the importance of having a proper workforce nutrition in place in their organizations. So the kind of examples that would demonstrate the benefits of workforce nutrition on team performance and productivity.
Okay, I would like to cite a couple of examples. Recently looking at the World Economic Forum, it's something that is being currently driven by the Global Alliance for Improved Nutrition, by a couple of other organizations who are now trying to, incorporate food programs within their organizations. So an example that I will cite first is the Google's food program. So Google, for example, as is well known, is well known for its comprehensive food program, that offers employees access to nutritious meals, snacks, and beverages. Where in their offices, for example, there are vending machines where employees at during the break time or the time they are off work, you can go to your vending machine, you can slot in your card, or you can put in some funds and be able to get healthy snacks like apples, like oranges, like clementines, tangerines, and all of that. So something to just, that you can snack on rather than snacking on something that is not healthy or good for your health or for your body. So some of the things that Google's food program has helped to ensure. So the company's aim really is to promote employees' health and well-being, and through its food offerings. And the program has been attributed to boosting employee morale, increasing productivity, and then fostering a positive work environment. Another example I can also cite is the Johnson and Johnson wellness program. So Johnson and Johnson implemented a comprehensive wellness program for their employees, including nutrition education, healthy food options, and fitness initiatives. So, and then the program resulted in significant reduction in health risk among employees, improved overall health outcomes, and increased productivity. And the company estimated that Johnson and Johnson was able to save about $250 million on healthcare costs, over a decade. So those are, examples that we can cite to showcase positive outcomes that has been recorded within organizations who have incorporated workforce nutrition and have, ensured that they've built programs, initiatives within their system to ensure that employees are performing optimally. If you also look at one at the Harvard Business Review that talks about the effect of a healthy workforce team. One of the statistics that was quoted in that Harvard Business Review was that the cost to health costs as a result of lack of productivity from employees was costing about $15 billion, on an annual basis. And over time, based on this, programs, food programs and wellness initiatives being built within organizations, there's been a drastic reduction within loss of productivity and to employees calling in sick at work and related issues. So I've cited Google's workforce program and workforce nutrition program, as well as Johnson and Johnson as wellness initiative. There are also other organizations who are coming up with such. Like I earlier mentioned, GAIN is one organization that is, championing this. And we also have organizations in China, in the United States of America, and also in UK who are also championing this course on, workforce nutrition intervention for employees. And like the American Journal of Health Promotion also talked about a study that focused on nutrition intervention program in the workplace. That intervention also brought about a positive result amongst employees that participated in the program, who improved their dietary habits, increased their intake of fruit and vegetable, and this also in turn, led to high job performance, increased productivity, and reduced absenteeism. So these are some of the examples that I can cite around workforce nutrition, how some of these initiatives have been implemented, and the kind of positive results and outcomes that is being recorded. And more organizations are now, being integrated into these programs, and we are seeing the kind of positive results that we want to see.
Thank you very much. Your last answers were very insightful and incisive. I'm sure a lot of new organizations can now see the benefit of incorporating, given the examples that you highlighted for us. So, but if we look at it from having a very comprehensive nutrition program, in the workplace, what are, definitely there will be a lot of people that have different dietary needs, some due to cultural, some due to religious restrictions. They can't take certain foods. So when an organization intends to adopt a workforce nutrition program, and maybe creates a sort of a nutrition plan, for their for their employees. So, what are the things that they should really absorb, or what are the strategies that they can follow to ensure that every employee gets what they need?
Okay, so looking at the context of religion, cultural background, and different norms. We talk a lot about diversity, equity, and inclusion. So some of the ways that organizations can ensure that in their workplace there is inclusion, that we are ensuring inclusive, and we are respectful towards different cultures, different religious practices, dietary restrictions. Employers can follow different strategies by ensuring that there are diverse menu options. So some of the things that we do in terms of nutrition labeling. So to ensure that on food packages or food labels, for example, when we get food from food vendors, we ensure that the foods are well labeled to show the essential ingredients that are in that food substance. Some people in Africa don't even know that. They experience food allergens. You see, some people will just say, "Oh, I had granite and I started having some reaction on my skin and things like that." That is an allergy. So a lot of people don't even know what their bodies are allergic to in terms of foods that are being consumed. And, over time, a lot of food manufacturing companies are now coming up with different models and strategies whereby they label in bold on the nutritional information on the packages of food, which we call food labels. So they label them in bold to say that this food contains nuts, this food contains wheat, this food contains so and so ingredients. So that if you know that your body cannot, or is allergic, or cannot tolerate this kind of ingredients in your food, then you avoid, consuming such foods. So like I earlier said, one of the strategies that employers can employ is to ensure that there are diverse menu options. And that's by offering a variety of menu options, that cater for the needs of people, whether the person is vegetarian, the person is vegan, or, the person cannot eat foods that contains gluten or has some allergens that they react to. So also considering cultural norms. I know that our Muslim folks, for example, don't take pork or any food products that has anything that has to do with pork products within it, whether it's ham, whether it's pork itself, or anything made out of pork. So these are some of the things that we can do to ensure that foods are well labeled, to ensure that whatever substance that is in that food product that somebody is allergic to, for example, or that they would likely have allergic reactions to, they can easily avoid it when they read the food label. Another strategy would be to consult with nutritionists and maybe dietitians. So, and then engaging employees in the process. So if you are trying to get food vendors to provide healthy food options, for example, within the workplace, one thing to do would be to engage the employees to integrate them within the planning process. What are the kind of foods that you would like? Can we draw up the menu plan together? What are the kind of foods that you would like to see, come from our food vendors? Or, what are the kind of foods that you would want our food vendors to provide within the organization? I know that, for example, the Nigerian Economic Summit Group, has done this for a very long time for staff members by providing nutritious diet during lunch periods. And one of that has been done is by changing food vendors maybe every two weeks to ensure that, different varieties are being provided at different points in time. And this is one way that can also be adopted within organizations who are just starting this process newly. So ensuring that employees are engaged, consulting with the employees, ensuring that they are part of the planning process when the menu plan is being set, put in place. That also would help, everybody would feel, carried along in the process. And another thing, like I mentioned, is alleging information and clear labeling. That I've really touched on that before. And then education and awareness, providing educational resources, workshops that promote understanding and respect, for different dietary practices and cultural traditions, offering information on diverse cuisines, ingredients, and cooking techniques to foster appreciation and inclusivity are ways that we can ensure that we are respecting people's religion and cultural practices when we provide, workforce nutrition. And then also, customizing our meals. We can also allow employees to customize their meals to accommodate their dietary preferences, so that at the end of the day, you don't get an employee that a food vendor provides food, for example, and they only would now stick to one particular meal because they are not given that option to choose the kind of foods that they want. And I would use NESG as an example again. I know that on different days, we have 3 different menus for lunch period sometimes, and people have an opportunity to choose, a meal from 3 different options for the lunch period. So for organizations who are looking to start something like this, an initiative like this can also adopt this. For a start, it could be a daunting task. People would think about the financial implication and all of that, but at least not starting is the one that, not even starting at all could be detrimental, but at least putting the best foot forward. And then when you see the encouragement, that it brings to the employees and how you see the productivity of the workforce, I believe that, investments can keep rolling in to support this laudable initiative. Another way would be to collaborate with external experts, like I rightly said, seeking advice from nutritionists, from dietitians, from people who curate menu plans for organizations. So to seek guidance, from them, and cultural consultants as well, who can provide insight into diverse dietary needs and help to design an inclusive program that will, ensure that everyone is well integrated into the initiative. So these are the ways that, we can accommodate different cultural practices, respect different, religions, and also dietary restrictions when we try to come up with wellness and dietary programs and initiative within the organization. So, and in terms of measuring the success of workforce nutrition, like I earlier said, we've seen positive outcomes recorded in different organizations who have started this. So we know that even with MSMEs or with startup organizations who are looking to start, to begin or to kick off similar initiative, definitely because of the positive outcomes that we've seen within other organizations, there is the likelihood that positive results would also, be recorded with any medium or small enterprise who is looking to start this kind of initiative.
Thank you very much. As a matter of fact, you've covered the next question I was going to ask about, the metrics employers can use. But this also, leads me to another question, which is, you've highlighted the benefits of, having, proper workforce nutrition programs for organizations and, corporate organizations and MSMEs, and the benefits that they stand to gain, by embracing workforce nutrition. So now we are looking at how can we strengthen this in Nigeria. It's obvious that a whole lot of organizations are yet to adopt, workforce nutrition programs. So what are the interventions and policies, that we can put in place to strengthen workforce nutrition, especially in the Nigerian corporate environment?
Okay, so am I talking about the metrics now?
No, 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 no,
For
not the
the
metrics. We are just looking at what policies can we, can the government initiate or implement, to ensure that workforce nutrition is strengthened both in the private sector and in the public sector.
Okay, so one way that we can improve that would be to create a healthy food policy. So in doing this, the human resource management would have to come together with the top management or the senior management to ensure that this is put in place. So just the way you have an insurance policy for an organization, you have health policies and all the other policies that guides how employees must behave within an organization. Is the same way that we can also create a healthy food policy, and this policy would then, guide and support healthy eating within the workplace. For example, we can establish guidelines on how we want to provide nutritious meals during company events, limiting the availability of unhealthy food options and promoting healthier choices for workplace celebrations. So, within organizations, we would have birthday celebrations, we would have different events throughout, a 1 year period. So what we can do is to say that during every event that the organization hosts, whether for employees or for external stakeholders, we must ensure that our healthy food policy, incorporates within it the target of promoting healthier food choices within workplace celebrations. So that's one way to go about it. Another strategy that can be put in place, which I know some organizations already do, as small as having a tap where people can even fetch water to drink from within an organization, or even just putting a dispenser in a position where people can dispense, clean drinking water from, is one way that we can also do this. So this would help to promote, increased water consumption, because on a daily basis, as nutritionists will say that people should consume at least 2 liters of water in a day. That would help to ensure that your body is functioning optimally. So if you're just sitting at your desk, you're already, sedentary, operating a sedentary lifestyle by just sitting at your desk in front of a desktop or a laptop doing your work. If it's not the type of work that allows you to be on site, maybe on a construction site, for example, or allows you to move around, from time to time. So one of the things that we can do is to promote water consumption, other than creating a healthy food policy program within the organization. So this would always ensure that people have access to different water stations, and distributing reusable water bottles as well, to ensure sustainability within an organization. Because as we are eating and also curbing how we also waste food, is also something to look at. So this would help to remind employees, about the importance of hydration and its impact on overall health. Again, we can also do that by fostering a culture of wellness. So when we integrate wellness into the company's culture, by incorporating, health and nutrition into employee benefits and recognition programs, offering incentives or rewards for participating in wellness activities or achieving health-related goals. This can also help to boost, the morale of employees, or to help people to want to integrate themselves into a healthy food program or initiative, for example. Another way can also be to provide resources and support. During COVID-19 outbreak, one of the things that really helped most organizations out was, just by pasting resources to support people on the walls, for example, within the organization, to remind people to always wash their hands, for example, to remind people to always sanitize their hands with a sanitizer, to also educate them on ways that you should protect yourself from the next person. If you're sneezing, for example, this is how you should cover your nose when you are having a sneeze. These are little things that organizations can do or can put in place. If you just even come up with a communication pamphlet, for example, that you paste on the wall to show to employees within the organization that when you eat a varied, balanced diet, this is what your body would enjoy. This is how your productivity will be impacted. Just putting information like that, using it as an advocacy tool to advocates to employees, can also help them to make informed choices in terms of choosing what to eat and what not to eat. And then another way can be to also organize lunch and learn sessions. So hosting educational sessions during lunch breaks where employees can learn about nutrition related topics, inviting nutritionists, dietitians, or wellness experts to share practical tips. They can also be holding cooking demos. These are things that we do in primary healthcare centers for nursing mothers. We teach them how to feed their children after 6 months of being engaged in exclusive breastfeeding, for example. So we now say your child has enjoyed an exclusive breastfeeding period for 6 months, and we don't want them to lose their baby weight. So after 6 months, we hold cooking demos, healthy cooking demos at the primary healthcare centers to show this nursing mother some of the things that they can do in their kitchen. I mean, by having a small garden, for example, plants tomatoes there, peppers here, vegetables here. You can grind this, you can mix this, you can add banana and avocado pear, for example. You can feed your child with this, and it will help to build their cognitive function and all of that. And these are tips that can also be shared, when we organize lunch and learn sessions amongst employees in an organization. So we can also incorporate wellness challenges, for example, that is focused on nutrition, such as a fruit and vegetable challenge. It's not everybody that actually likes to eat fruit and vegetable. And
Exactly.
There's been a lot of, even for children, there's been a lot of advocacy tools on YouTube to continue to encourage children to eat fruit and vegetables. Like you see some nursery rhymes that says, eat your vegetable because there is so much more. There is so much more to lunch. There is so much more to lunch. Eat your vegetable, something like that. So, and these children, because they're watching, they stare at these things on YouTube channels, on different channels every day. Because of that, Mommy, I want my vegetable. Mommy, I want my fruit. It's just the way adults to behave. When you keep bombarding people with the kind of information that, constantly helps them to make better decisions with their health. There is no how. You create a fruit and vegetable challenge in an organization and you put money to it or incentive. People will cooperate now. Everybody will jump on the fruit and vegetable challenge or water intake challenge. So I'm going to beat Sheriff to drinking over 2 liters of water today.
Exactly.
And I'm going to give you, I owe you 5,000 naira for that. Exactly. Everybody will jump on the challenge. Yes, really, sometimes it's not just about the money, but the fact that you're doing that challenge, for example, makes it fun and interesting. People want to be on it. People feel like, oh, this is a supportive environment, that helps me to make healthier choices. So the last thing I'm also going to talk about is that's the second to the last thing that I already talked about. Providing nutritional information to help people make informed decisions in terms of the kind of foods they want to choose. And another way would be to offer healthy, vending machines within the organization where people can buy snacks from, or where people can, obtain whole grain snacks, yogurts, vegetables, fruits, and remove or reduce the availability of sugary or unhealthy options. So these are ways that organizations can put up policies and put up initiatives and programs in place to support, their employees and staff members to build a high performing culture within the organization in terms of workforce nutrition.
Thank you very much. You really, really, really covered a lot, and I'm sure our audience have, learned a whole lot of things from what Ms. Dolapo Enejo has said about how they can build high-performing team, through incorporating workforce nutrition in their organizations. Thank you very much for your time. We really appreciate your presence on today's episode of the podcast.
Thank you very much for having me.
All right, our audience, thank you for being a part of today's interesting program. You can learn more about workforce nutrition by visiting www.nesgroup.org. And if you also want to listen to other interesting conversations crossing across various sectors of the Nigerian economy, kindly visit www.nesgroup.org/podcast. Thank you once again for your time, and see you next time.